Check, you hear that?
What's that?
That's the intro. Can you hear it?
Although there's nothing usual about a game 7.
What time is it? Game time!
And welcome to game 7, everybody.
What's up, y'all? It says, hold on. There we go. Slight delay. It's all good. All right, everybody. Welcome to the Game 7 podcast. I'm your host, the Detour, Dinero, whatever you know me by. Here with Santana the Great, my co-host.
You.
And my bro, Chuck. What's up, Chucky?
It's good, yeah.
So, listen, it's long overdue, and we took our time with this one, but we were supposed to come here and basically discuss all things that are going on. Now, normally, the podcast, if y'all know the history of it, this isn't the norm. This isn't actually it's not far-fetched from what we believe in or whatever, but this isn't what the podcast is normally. But for obvious reasons, we needed to come out and address some things and have this conversation that we've had in a post and everything like that. Now, unfortunately, we had another black officer, which is the name of this podcast, Black and Blue, black officers wearing the blue uniform. I had another one, but if I'm being completely honest, I knew him from the military. He went into the police force, and his views were way left, so it didn't work out. And I actually wanted him to be here for obvious reasons. I don't want to discredit anybody's perspective or lose it, whether that's woman, black woman, white woman, female, male, cop, whatever. But it just didn't work out. That being said, we do have a former police officer here, and he's going to give a perspective on the things that he's used to while we give and talk about the things that we're used to. And I wanted to go live instead of pre-record this so that the audience, you guys and everybody else around, can add your input. Now, there's a lot of mixed emotions, mixed feelings, and my perspective, first and foremost, is it's confusing to me because right or wrong, I mean, that's a no-brainer to most of us. What's acceptable, what's unacceptable is a no-brainer to most of us. Unfortunately, you learn really quickly that that is not the consensus. That's not realistic. So here we are, me, Santana, Chuck, and you guys, and we're going to have this conversation, and I want everybody to be brutally honest. This is an honest conversation. Yes, we've talked in the past. Yes, we posted, but perspective and actually having a conversation as opposed to arguing and misinterpreting a text is always better. So without further ado, the Black and Blue podcast brought to you by Game 7. Santana, Chuck, anything?
I'll let y'all kick it off.
I remember we touched up on it not too long ago, and even not just y'all, but with other people, you see a lot of people, talking about, if you're African American in a uniform, you're a disappointment to your own community.
They said the same
But
thing about the military.
Huh?
They said the same thing about us. Black men don't deserve or should never serve in a white man's army. We heard that.
Well, you should never be in a uniform. But I mean, if we looking at everything that's going on today, and you look at what happened recently in Minnesota, and a lot of people say, well, we got a racial disparity issue, racial discrimination, and police brutality issue in our community. And I mean, you go back and you look, and it's like we go back into history, and you look at when blacks, African Americans, when they was prosperous, and they had their own stuff. And so we go back, we look at Black Wall Street. Pretty much had everything when we had our own land, things like that. When got released the slaves and stuff like that, you pretty much you had your own economy.
Right.
You governed yourself. You addressed yourself. You had respect in the community. But I mean, as time progressed, things got away from that with political. Whenever you throw the drugs and things like that, the policies and stuff that changed over time. But like I said, with me being former law enforcement, I go into that field, and it's like whenever I was sitting on briefings, say you got a room of 100 police officers, you might see 5 blacks, you might see 15 Latinos, and the rest is whites. And they the ones that come back in our community that didn't grow up there. They can't relate to us. They can't address.
Let's get into it. So,
they can't.
To piggyback that, I've told this story before. Most people have heard it. After the war, me and my brother, we both served. We both went to war. We both made it out. But after the war, now mind you, I always put it in perspective. When I'm in that uniform during 9/11 and everything like that, I'm treated with the utmost respect. People are stopping me, the same guy that they wouldn't say anything to on the streets or whatever. They're stopping me and they want to buy me dinner. They want to buy me a Starbucks or congratulate me and shake my hand and stuff. Well, after the war, and I hated that, by the way. I hated it. Not because I'm socially awkward or anything, but I'm not really good with the fake love. Yeah. And I know what it is. But anyway, after the war, Chicago, my brother just got back from Iraq. I just got back from Afghanistan. And to piggyback what you said, our neighborhood, wildly enough, blacks and Latinos damn near took our life away. Fucked us up, and I won't even get into the details, but you want to talk about the most horrific incidents you could have. Even after a war, that was it. There's nobody you can call for help. You realize quickly that there's nobody you can call for help. And just to fast forward, a white officer walked me out of that police precinct. A white officer, he couldn't do it. But I know exactly what you're saying in terms of like the mixture that goes on and, how policing is so important, especially in the neighborhoods and how we police our own. It goes to the basic principle of why even take that job if your job or your intentions is not to actually police and be that person for that neighborhood, which is why also with the Black Wall Street thing and everything else, I don't know if you can account that to politics or whatever, but we know what that was.
No. I'm not saying that's politics. I'm talking about I'm talking about like once you get to like 50s, 60s, 70s, things like that, them type of politics right there when they came with that Jim Crow era and stuff like that.
Right.
But like I said, we already know what that stuff is, but I mean, again, like I said, we come back to our neighborhood. I mean, like I said, we had more of us, because I'm pretty sure it's just like you or Santana. If you see a little kid doing something that look like you can go up there, you can talk to him like, hey, man, what's going on? And you can get into their head and you can pick them apart.
That's normally what through. Be better than me. Don't be like me, be better than me. I've been there, the examples.
You know what I'm saying? So almost be like a mentor to where somebody else, they're going to come in from the outside and they just going to look like, you know what, man, you're a piece of shit. You know what? You're going to be just like the rest of these guys that I've seen. And you already get that pre-label. So you got that disconnect right there. And that's the difference between, like I say, us and them. So, I mean, like that's just how I feel. That's my standpoint. That's where I've always kind of been with it. But then again, in any profession, anything that you do, you're always gonna have people that's gonna abuse that position of power. That's just
that's another thing because we know, and I know I got one in my inbox right now. I grew up with a guy, also a black officer. He was corny. He's still corny. And I'm just, and listen, it's no disrespect, but let's call it what it is. He was corny. He was corny as a kid. He was very lame. He wasn't popular, none of that. Like he was a real life weirdo. You know what I'm saying? No disrespect to nobody, but he was really a real life weirdo, and then somehow or another become a cop. And you see that power that they never had. Suddenly they feel some kind of way, you know what I mean? Like so much so that you feel like you know me, but you feel so confident that you can slip into my inbox and say some things to me that you could never. You know what I mean? And that's kind of the thing that goes on when we say don't So people say all the time, gang members or blacks kill blacks or whatever. See, the difference is a black man that's a gangster, hustler, or just a civilian that accidentally or purposely kills somebody, he pays the consequences. You're gonna go to jail. You're a murderer, you're a killer right off the bat. A police officer that decides that he feels threatened in that uniform or feels some kind of way in the neighborhood that he doesn't want to be in, you had the option. You have the option. Nope, you're volunteering. You can quit your job. If you feel that it is absolutely life-threatening and these people are barbaric savages and you just hate them all, you wish they would die and your life is just so much, quit.
Yeah.
The problem is that they like that power. They feel superior and they abuse that to the point where we get these incidents. Like, come on, bro, listen, on no occasion, I'm 6'4". On no occasion have I ever in my life wanted to put my knee on somebody's neck.
Nah.
Never.
Nah.
That's if you want to kill them, though.
And that's like the other day, my boy, he just asked me about, you seen up in Buffalo, the riot team or the riot response team that pushed the white guy down. He was like, man, he said, how can you do that? And just like you said, I'm 6'4", lost a little bit of weight with everything going on. But normally when I was on patrol, I was 6'4", 265. And I said, I never felt the need or the urge to physically put my hands on somebody.
And that's what I'm saying. Like like me, you and I know, like, and you've seen it, the way we are. Most times in confrontations, you'll see us, we like giggle, like, like we just, we had that playful banter where it's never serious. You get guys that have never, get guys that have never won a fight or been in that position, and suddenly you've seen them hands in his pocket, And mind you, I still haven't watched the video. I can't do it. I've seen the pictures.
Yeah, I watched.
You're very. I can't watch the video, but he's very nonchalant. Hands in his pocket and everything like that. That to me, a man's in cuffs, bro.
Real smug about it.
And like I said, that's another thing, man. That's poor training. Because when I worked in corrections before I hit the streets, it was a lot of people like that, and I got to see that mentality because I had worked. If you watch First 48, a lot of them guys that you deal with, that they be on that show. Once they get convicted, they would end up in the wing or the floor that I was working. And so you would see a lot of guys, they would see some of the crimes that they committed, because somehow they be going to death row or they be coming from death row appealing their case. And they would never want to deal with that inmate or prisoner on a one-on-one basis situation. And so it's like if something happened to where I had to go on the cell block, sometimes you turn around, look, and you got like 2, 3, 4 dudes lined up, like, oh yeah, we coming in to help you. And I'm like, I'm good, bro. Like, I don't need no help. Like,
right.
I'm good. I'm comfortable with my training. Like, I'm good with these hands, so I'm all right. I don't need no help. But anytime, like I said, they get together, they want to come in and jump. That's what you will get, that dog pile situation like you just see on camera. And it's like, I never had any troubles or struggle with anybody in a situation like that because of my background or whatever. But I'm like, you get these dudes right here that's scary.
Listen, but correct me if I'm wrong too. Correct me if I'm wrong. Like, it's the same thing that kind of goes on in the hood. Like, I've never been a thug, a gangster, a hustler. I mean, I'm a hustler, but you know what I'm saying? Like, I've never been a gang member or none of that, right? So there's a certain rapport that you build and you have where I'm good in the hood. I'm not fucking with nobody. They're not fucking with me. I'm not tough. It's the same thing that kind of goes on with officers on they beat that do the things that they're supposed to do. Yeah, and if you're in a neighborhood that they respect you, you respect them. Come on, they're not. You're not looking to, and they're not looking to fuck with you. You see what I'm saying? So that's kind of the thing that goes on when you walk into a situation. The vibes is everything. People discredit energy and whatever, and that's why back to what we were talking about before. When the system is the way it is, and you allow these police officers, whether that's negligent background check or lack of training, when you allow them to then go into situations that they're not comfortable with, and history has shown that they're not compatible with, you're gonna get these problems. That dude should. I mean, again, I seen that he had a rap sheet, but the dude should have never been there.
No, the rap sheet don't even matter, man. It's like they pulled up the man's set, his porn tape.
Well, no. I'm talking about the officers. They said the officer had a history of this
Oh
kind of
yeah.
behavior.
Yeah, I thought you were talking about the way they was trying to discredit.
I'm never bringing up. I'll never in my life bring up somebody's history because I was young and dumb. We all were. You know what I mean? I was young and dumb. I've never been arrested or nothing like
you
that.
absolutely right. He shouldn't have been on the streets, man. Because like I said, I've been in a situation where I had to defend myself and get a guy off of me, and because I got him off efficiently, it's like, hey, we're gonna charge you with police brutality. And so I had to go through that whole smear campaign, getting blasted in the news. People actually think like I did what this dude did. I get to court and they look at the video and everybody looking like that's not police brutality. They like the officers defending themselves. They like you see the guy come out of nowhere and hit the officer and he pushes him off and the guy is like engaging. And then once he hit him with a combo and drops him,
not a combo.
y'all charge him. So they like, no, that's not
why that is. But you know why that is. That's that.
Yeah, because you're a black officer, and that's not the first thing a lot of people said. They said the first chance they get to hem up an officer and he's black, they gonna go with it, and you'll never see that.
It happened in Minnesota.
Well, see, the history show, but that's what I'm talking about is the history, right? This is not new. So this is what I'm talking about. I'm talking about black, white, whatever. You take that out of the equation. If you're talking about historically how people feel, black people in general, black people feel towards the police, that's always been a thing. And when people get to saying statistically, oh, you know, police, you don't see us marching and they did this to a white man or they did this to a white woman or this happened here or whatever, there's a reason why that doesn't happen. It's not an issue for you guys. It's a long line of reasons and why we don't trust the police. And sadly enough, I've always said kind of, and this is a wild example or whatever, but if you look at technology like Total Recall, when they had the phone way back when in the 90s where you could see and talk, we used to be like, oh, that's so Dick Tracy with the watch. Remember Dick Tracy with the watch? Man. We all wanted it, but we was like, oh, that's never happening. And I always say that these ideas and these thoughts come from somewhere. Well, these thoughts in the history of police brutality and misconduct within the black community has always been a thing. That's not something that's made up. Like, that's a real thing. It's a real stigma. Where I get lost is I believe everybody has a position. I believe everybody has a position to play in whatever. What I don't believe is that I'm gonna beg a system that doesn't give a fuck about me and has shown me historically they don't give a fuck about me for justice. At some point, you got to revert back to, for lack of a better word, segregation. We do our own. We police our own. We want our own. We, you know what I mean? We raise our own. We school our own, and so on and so forth. And that doesn't mean that white people aren't allowed or other races aren't allowed. What it means is, at some point, like what you see going on now is you see corporations like the NFL being forced to choose a side. They didn't have to have that choice before. Before, it was business as usual. So right now, if all the athletes walked out of the NFL and the NBA and everything else, you're not gonna just solely have black people. You're gonna have some of them guys that's like, yo, I'm either going with the money or I really truly believe in this. And that's how I see it. You really gonna get to the point where history stops teaching you about how great what's his name? Who's Christopher Columbus is, and shit like that, and you get to the root of what really is going on, as opposed to the nonsense that we know we were raised on, etc. So all of it is intertwined, but it's like that's the system that we have. That's the same system that allows police 8 weeks of training and think that they're certified to do some shit.
It's like it's 6 months, about 6 months.
You know what I'm saying? It ain't a lot.
Yeah.
And in that 6 months,
and in that
6 months, anybody that's ever been through training, in that 6 months, you know a lot of what be going on, be like processing paperwork or this, and a lot of it's drawn out. You know what I mean? That being said, it's like I just feel like policing should be one of those jobs, especially since I don't believe they pay much.
Depends on where you go. Small departments, you make that bank, because that's where I was at.
Okay,
making good money.
Well, I mean, what I mean is, I don't think that's one of them jobs like being a lawyer that you aspire to do. It's one of them jobs that I feel like you should have a passion to do. That's how I feel. Like I feel like you should want to help. Like all right, take the VA. Why ever work in the Veterans Association if you don't want to help veterans? Like I've witnessed and encountered people that work in the VA that feel like you trying to take them.
Yeah,
and it's
they got some piss poor service.
right. So and that's where you lose me as far as public servants, whether that be politics or otherwise. Why get into these fields and allow people into these fields that aren't serving the people or here for the people? Compensation aside, now we all want to be compensated, but that becomes the bigger issue to me. Is you're put in a position of leadership, etc., whether that be president or police officer, whatever, and you're showing a lack of compassion or care for the actual people that you are appointed to serve. School teachers on.
Yeah.
So you know what I mean? Like that's my bigger issue. Like I'm somebody that gives a fuck, but I don't want to be in a position to teach your kids how to count, etc. Because I'm one of them people that believe shit, technology's here now. I'll show you how to use that. It's there for a reason. I don't want to waste your time teaching you the long way, the hard way, in case power goes out. I will teach you, you know what I mean, some shit that you can actually use or help you through that. Like I feel like a lot of people are just taking positions, and these cops are in a position because either A, they don't have nowhere else to go, or no other job, no other training, or this is the only place they're gonna get power. Teachers too, politicians, etc. Like this is why we're so fucked up. Like you can't be that insensitive. You can't be that naive.
Yeah, like I
Yeah,
said,
I think it's that power part.
It's
Yeah, a
got to
lot
be
of
power.
it's power from what I've seen, man. A lot of people just like that had a factor, being in charge, being able to tell people what to do. Because even like you say, going back, I remember a lot of times when I would get off work, or even if I would go to, like, I was on duty and I would go to people's restaurants and businesses, they would always offer me food. They'd be like, "Oh, you ain't got to pay for your meal," and I didn't like that because I'm used to paying for my own way and taking care of myself. And so, but you got some people that take advantage of that. I mean, you can go on their Facebook and stuff like that. You can see they draped and dressed in uniform. They want you to see the
Right.
badge, the gun, the whole shebang like that. They on Instagram or whatever, taking
You see
pictures
it
in the
with
uniform, showing off.
see it with vets
And
too.
it's like, they want to be seen. To where, like I said, I know me and a lot of my boys, we was like, man, that's once we come out that uniform, we know who we are. We're black men. That's how the world sees. That's what we are.
All right,
It's
Sean.
just, it is what it is.
Sean.
But like I said, huh?
His brother said something. Sean, when I say begging, understand what I'm saying. I have a mentality of I was born the same way a white man, an Asian, Chinese, Indian man were born. When I see people march or I see people wait time after time after time for a judicial system where your last comment said above that, I just hope they don't acquit him. Why am I waiting and hoping that a system that has long failed me, from police on up to the courts, to give me justice time and time again? Like the fact that we have to sit back here and wonder if somebody's going to get acquitted for a crime that we know we would be sent up for. To me, again, I say everybody plays a part. I do believe protest, marching, and everything I think it's a necessity or a part of it. Like any part of your body, head, arm, everything serves a purpose. What I'm saying is I'm not that guy. I will never be that guy. I'm not a guy that if you take my son today, you'll see me on camera crying. If you take my child today, you're never going to see me on a camera, a news station or whatever, begging for justice. I'm just not built that way. The reason why I'm saying this is at some point, corporations or whatever, you have to know your worth. In essence, it is begging because you're asking time and time again and pleading with them to give you some shit that's already yours. He didn't have the right to take that man's life. No badge, no uniform, nothing. They rather put 100 cops outside of this man's house than arrest 4 people. They would rather you burn this bitch down than to put a man behind bars that they either A, knew was wrong or they fired anyway. And out of all of that, we're still sitting back on pins and needles and marching and happy with a city painting Black Lives Matter or a coach making a statement or whatever. I say begging, I say pleading, because at some point you got to punch a motherfucker in the chest and really take what's yours. You gotta really at some point stand up and say, you know what, fuck you if it's fuck me. And it's just how I feel about it. I really truly in my heart of hearts believe in if you take or touch somebody that I give a fuck about, you ain't got to worry about the police giving me justice. And if anybody stands in my way, they get whatever's coming, and I'm ready to live and die with that. I couldn't have been on the plantation. I couldn't have. And I'm not saying that I'm gonna live long. I'm not saying that I would have made it out. I'm not even saying that I'm absolutely right in my thinking. What I am saying is at some point, why are we reliant? And it's not just Black lives. It's watching the abundance of people that don't like Trump, hearing all the things that go on, and then believing that this is a democracy. How the fuck is a majority of the negativity that goes on in the presidency we don't like, but we're waiting 4 years for a system that we can overturn? It's ours.
That's corruption right there.
It's no. It's the same. What it is it's the same theory that what they said. I don't know. I can't remember exactly what it was with the elephant, but they said if you shackle the elephant for so long, that once he feels it on, he feel like you just put a little. He feels like he can't move. He's programmed to believe that he can't move. He's programmed to believe that he's in cage. He's enslaved. If you do it for so long, it's the psychological sense that, bro, it's a democracy. You telling me in a democracy is for the people, by the people. But if the people don't agree with it, then how the fuck are we still here? That's kind of where I'm going to it. And I've said it before, and I seen a video of a woman saying the same shit. We're playing a game. We're playing a game of pinball. We're playing a game that we don't own. We're playing a game with money that ain't ours. We're playing a game where the high scores are already set. And the second we sit back and we try to beat that high score or overturn the shit, we end up feeding our own money into it. We end up losing some of our money. We can even get close. But while we're doing all of this feeding into the machine, we're still paying them. You have to at some point get your own fucking game. You got to play your own game by the rules that they not setting, and set your own rules. That's the only way you get to the high score. That's the only way that you get to the point where the game is fucking fair. It's the only way. And that's on all levels. That's sports, that's lawyering, that's doctoring, that's whatever. Like at some point, all the complaining, all the complaints, the marching and everything else, you get fed up and you stop. And you stop saying, well, we don't own this and we don't own that or whatever, and you own it. Without the workers, they don't have businesses anyway. They're not doing it. They're not doing it. These old white men, for lack of a better term, that own these corporations, they're not coming down to do this work. They can't. Corporation stops, we got it. So, you know what I mean? Like, and that's what I mean. Like, at some point, like, all the marching and stuff and all the pleading, I feel like it's begging, because at the end of the day, if they stop and they acquit these guys, it's going to be more loot and more burning, and we'd have just wasted some months or years or whatever it takes to do this on waiting on a system that we all sit here and feel is corrupt. Just take it.
Just like that movie V for Vendetta.
Bro, all I'm saying is we be so proud. We be like, in my head, we be so proud to see certain things happen and certain people make it and so on and so forth. Like, the analogy that I've always used is like LeBron James or Jay-Z. These are our leaders. These are the people that we aspire to be, and they got $1 billion. Kanye, $1 billion, right? These are the guys that we say, shit, they can get it. But we forget that somebody's paying LeBron James. Fucking Jerry Jones bought out of his pocket $1 billion stadium and don't blink. You understand what I'm saying or trying to say? Like, we're aspiring, the leaders that we have, the Oprahs and shit like that, they're not even really on the leaderboard.
No.
Not even close.
And that's one of the problems, putting leadership in the wrong way.
Absolutely. So now we idolizing celebrities. And they're not like LeBron James, for all the money and all the things that he do. His biggest asset is not his money. His biggest asset is his influence.
Mm-hmm.
That's where he's most valued.
Yep.
He's still getting up there though. I mean,
Yeah, but
because
we're
you got to
talking a
look, he
billion,
an athlete first.
right?
He
But
an
we're talking,
athlete first. So it's like even if you look at Michael Jordan right now, after the fact, it's like, well, we don't know where LeBron going to be. I mean, people already comparing him to Jordan, saying he better than Jordan. But I mean, once he retired, it's like, what's his possibilities? It's like you look at Kobe and the impact that he was leaving on a lot of people on what he was doing after he retired, even though he passed, pretty young. LeBron could set the bar even higher and do even more. And so he has that opportunity, and like I said, the possibility is there for him to do whatever.
but are we
And so
talking
it's like
about
you really gotta
leadership,
sit back and
or
look.
what are we talking about? Financial or leadership?
Both.
Because
Both.
financially, and I don't want to ever discredit or talk down on anybody, but financially, I'm not sure that you can catch that leaderboard. I don't know what they say. Jeff Bezos made how much?
Who?
Jeff
Bezos,
Amazon guy. How much he made? How much is he worth? Even after his divorce, like
They
these
said
dudes,
he pushing $1 trillion.
right?
They said he about to be the first trillionaire.
So we talking trillions, and we talking about families of wealth that $1 billion, 10 billion even ain't. And again, we're not saying they're not gonna make it. What I'm saying is, at the end of the day, like if that's what we're going off of in this system, and they had a long ass head start, and somebody still paid him that billion, whether that was a corporation, the NBA, Nike, or whatever. The fact that somebody has to break him off that check to get him to that says everything that I need to know about where we are. And what I'm saying is his influence is where he's most valuable. I'm not discrediting what he does after or Jordan's influence after. What I'm saying is those brothers and anybody else with influence, their biggest asset is to say is the influence, what they say, what action they take after. If they say tomorrow, we out of here, we out of here. And I've long ago said if the geek community can build Bitcoin, why we can't build our own currency? Fuck the dollar.
Yeah.
If the nerds can overnight make Bitcoin worth whatever it was worth and do that and whatever, why we can't build our own currency? Why we can't take over the same kind of corporations that they're running when we are the ones trained to do it? If FedEx Freight, if the NFL, if Walmart doesn't have the workers, but the workers know how to do the work, start your own shit. And again, most people feel like I've literally heard people say, well, what's the plan? What's the plan? What's the plan? I'm telling you the plan. Like the plan at some point is back to Black Wall Street. The plan is policing your own. The plan is to make and govern yourself and create leaders that actually want to lead, that you actually see doing the work and want to do the work, not for compensation, but because they truly believe in it. There's no reason why we should have a government that can't agree on whether kids should have school books. The fuck do you mean? Or health care.
They doing that now, so I ain't hear about that.
What I'm just saying in general, like that's an argument of the school systems and even in gentrification. Like you're watching the same hood that we grew up in that they didn't give a fuck about suddenly get torn down and they give a fuck about it. Now they want to send landscapers through and make sure the grass is cut. We didn't even see grass when we was growing up.
Yeah, they trying to gentrify where I'm at. They want to get the property that my family got. So
in gentrification, what people are missing is that in gentrification in any city around the world, in gentrification, what you said without saying it was, we didn't give a fuck about it because you was there. But now that it's here, we're gonna make it worth it and valued at such and such, and we're gonna take care of it. We're gonna groom it, whatever. Mm-hmm. I never saw grass in the projects in the hood. Nah. We saw dirt trails leading us to, you know what I mean? Like we saw the parks and shit like that. Like you have the funds to do them things. You have the funds to give the computers to the same underprivileged kids in the same or better education. You have it. Mm-hmm. You choose not to do it. And there's no reason for leadership like that. That's what I'm saying. Like, why are you the mayor? Why are you the governor? Why are you the president if you feel that we have to debate whether this kid over here deserves the same education as this kid over there? It don't, and mind you, it don't even make sense because you should want all the resources you can to make this place better, right? Even if you talk about money.
Exactly.
You should want it. Like if we talk about money and I own a business, I don't give a fuck if you black, white, Mexican, or whatever. If you're gonna help me get better, I want that. So that's some deep, dark other shit that's like, I want it, but I don't want it with you. And that's where it starts. I want it, and I want America to be great, but I don't want it to come from you.
Yeah, that's exactly where it's at though. And that's where it come back to the whole racism thing. Like they don't want us to be great, yo. Let's keep it a bean. They want their own to be great, from what I'm saying.
Yeah.
So
which starts.
That's even like I was looking and reading something this morning. I forget who put it up. Elon Musk or whatever
yeah,
his name is. And he was talking about, he was like, at one point he was like, it used to be a felony to carry weed. And he said now you got the white kids, they turned into a business, but he was like, you still got people in jail for weed charges.
Yeah.
So
yeah, it's Chris Rock, baby. Chris Rock. It's all right. Yeah. But anyway, we know that though. But that's the circle that I'm saying that most people aren't understanding. Because his brother was asking me about what he say? He said what about the school systems and everything, where to start, the bigger picture, school funding, nothing like that or whatever. And it's like, yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like all of the things you're doing, like I'm torn as a I've been torn since my son was born. He was born in 2016. If you could do the math, that's around the same time Colin Kaepernick had what he had. It's every man's dream. It's every man's dream right here for your son to be athletic. And my son was born in an era where I literally said, oh no, I'm not breeding him to be no fucking athlete for nobody. And it hurt me.
No.
I said no. I said he gonna be whatever he gonna be. I'm not putting the ball in his hand. I'm not teaching him how to shoot a jumper. If he does it, he does it. If he picks it up, cool. But I'll be damned if I breed another fucking athlete for you to make money off of and own the likeness of. I couldn't do it.
Yep.
And I've still been that way to this day. Like I love sports and it's a part of our DNA. Like I said, when Kobe died, people were saying, people asked me how I felt about Kobe, and I had to tell them, I said, you got to understand that we come from nothing, and these are our real-life superheroes. These are the dudes that we watch with injuries, hurt. We know scandals. We know their background. We know when they're not feeling good. We know the drama between them and other players and the adversity they had to overcome to even get there. We know everything down to the uniform and the sneakers. When they step out, they're a part of us. These are our superheroes. These are the guys that we go to war with, and we literally watch like Power Rangers or X-Men season after season after season. And to watch one of us die in that way that we thought was super, it hurt.
Mm-hmm.
On a lot of levels. But again, he was really like a superhero to us. Like it wasn't just sports. It wasn't just a basketball player, even with all that he went through and, whatever. And to have that thought that guys playing sports or to breed or teach your son a sport is new slavery fucks you up. Fucks you up because you never want somebody to tell him to shut up and dribble. You never want to, you know what I mean? Like y'all see it, y'all hear it. You never want somebody to sit back and say, why he just can't shut up and play ball.
Yeah, that's what it always is, though. I mean, like we just talking about LeBron. You know what I mean? Talking about influencing This is LeBron, this lady said that about.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So
basically what they said is do what we pay you to do.
Yeah. Unless you Drew Brees, though. Unless you Drew Brees, go ahead and let it ride. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Drew
but
Brees
no, you already know what that's about. Like I said, that's racism.
Yeah.
Like I said, some people, they already got their mind set up on what they think and how they feel about, certain people and where they need to stay. Like pretty much like stay in your place, boys. So I mean, that's why I say you can't. If the opportunity is there, take it. Don't let somebody else, have that opportunity, even though it's hard. You
talking about like being an officer or whatever position you can get in.
Whatever you can get, especially the office and things like that. Because I mean, it's like you look at your city and things like that. A lot of people, they won't campaign or anything like that. Or oftentimes you see people, again, just like I said, not just in law enforcement, but you see people that come from outside that's campaigning. It's like I don't even know who this person is. You know what I'm saying? Versus somebody that you grew up with or a mentor, somebody that you comfortable with in the city, they should be running for it. But I mean, who am I to tell, somebody,
So
you should run for office.
I guess to piggyback what you're saying is most of us, me included, um, I ran from Chicago.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? Instead of staying and building the city up, but the fear is often I don't want to get trapped here. I don't want
Right.
to die here. This ain't all, you know what I mean? This ain't what I'm limited to. And again, like I said, I'm accountable for what I am and who I am. Like that environment was never my environment. And the stigma is what they kind of say. It's like, oh, well, black people kill black people, or why, the hood is this way or whatever. You learn from a young age, like my, some of my family members were drug addicts. Gang
Mm-hmm.
members in prison, etc. And you either can stick around it in what they call products of your environment, or you overcome it. And a lot of people overcome it and move away, and they get away, Kanye style, right? You get away, you become better. The objective then is to do better and give back. But you're right. A lot of the police officers, a lot of the politicians, a lot of the people that understand them areas, the areas should stay and police it up and fix it. Now, I had a point. Damn, I had a point. I was going somewhere else with that.
You'll get it.
Yeah, it's gonna come back.
But, but
Oh,
no,
no, I know what it
you
was. I know what it was. They said they often said about Jay-Z. That was my point. They said about Jay-Z all the time. Who is Jay-Z to do X, Y, and Z? He's an ex-drug dealer. Who better? Who better to talk about some shit that they've been through and tell you, what to do, what not to do, than somebody that's been in that position and got up out of that. Like that's what I never understood. It's almost a slap in the face to tell somebody that they're not able to, you know. Hey, my son.
The king over there pressing buttons.
Yeah, he came in and pressed a button. But yeah, it's almost a slap in the face to tell somebody that's been through it that they can't then come back and be positive or a positive force for it. It's almost like telling somebody, a rape victim to shut up and not talk about their experience. Like she's been through it. She wants to speak up. He wants to speak up, or whoever it was wants to speak up and tell you about their experience, so they can you can get the early warning signs and know what they go through, or at least at bare minimum be able to talk to them and understand that you have power to overcome, or that you're not alone dealing with it. But a lot of people discredit you right off the bat for overcoming and getting up out of there. But you're absolutely right. Like I believe the police should be people that want to, and politicians should be people that and that understand the community.
Yeah. Well, I can't knock you because I did the same thing. Like I said, if you know, like I said, I think you from Chicago too, right, Santana?
Yes, sir.
Both y'all from Chicago, and I'm from Camden. And so if y'all know anything about Camden, y'all know at one point Camden was was over y'all as far as crime rate
That's
for I
Ohio.
don't know how many years. And it's only 70,000 people in my city. And so I know when I was growing up, my dad always told me, he was like, man, he said, you want to play your sport, you want to do what you got to do. He's like, get out, travel, see the world. And he's like, don't come back. That's what he wanted for me. And so
Right.
that's how I ended up down here in Texas and things like that. 'Cause I got the scholarship, met the kids like that. But like I said, once I got, my profession in law enforcement, I always thought like, man, I wonder how it would be if I went back home because even though I'm down here in Texas, every time I read the newspaper, I always seen somebody that I went to school with or somebody that I knew, they either getting killed or I'm hearing they killing somebody. And they pretty much killed everybody off up until like only a couple people that I know.
Mm.
And it's like when I go back, I don't even see anybody anymore.
Mm.
And it's just like, damn, like that's just the cycle. And so it's a hard battle to, go back just as one person and try to change everything because that's not how things work.
Absolutely.
But it just like they say, it takes a village. And so it takes more
Absolutely.
than one person. But I mean, like I said, that's not something you could put all on yourself. It's just, life takes that turn. So
I agree, and it is a burden. I see people all the time asking, when you talk and you're vocable, what are you doing? And I can't explain to them the things that go on just from my personal life on to donations or things that you do, and it's not for
Yeah.
me to do. Again, what I believe and how I choose to change the system a lot of the times may not coincide with the rioting or the looting or whatever, but I understand it. Um,
Hmm.
and I've been that way my entire life. Like again, I could have sat back and I say this all the time. I could have sat back and did nothing and indulged in everything that I saw everybody else doing. I knew from an early age that I wanted more and I wanted to be, better and wanted, to get up out of that environment and change or whatever.
Hmm.
And the sad reality of it is even if you were to show people and walk up on your own and teach without a name, if they don't know who you are, if you ain't fucking Jay-Z or LeBron, a lot of people don't understand the language that you're speaking. The ones closest to you alone are a prime example of how hard it is to invoke change. Anyway, I got so many people in my family and close to me that I know that you can tell and show a better way, and they won't take it. They won't even ask. And even if you give it to them without them asking, they're not going to utilize that. They don't care. They're comfortable where they are. So it's already hard to think that you could do change and invoke change by yourself,
Hmm.
which full circle um, is why we actually started this podcast and this platform, Game 7. We both agreed that and a few other people that are behind us agreed Game 7. Like we wanted to give people something positive. We wanted them to understand and treat every day like a Game 7. It's supposed to be the most exciting game in sports, and you leave it all on the floor. Leave it all out on the floor. You give your blood, sweat, and tears. You trust your teammates. You trust the people next. You live in that moment. You grasp it. Yeah, like you understand that tomorrow. You could put it off. Tomorrow's tomorrow. But no, this Game 7. Like you got to treat this like there is no other, another day coming. And that's for your family and all. Like if I moved in a manner that didn't leave my family good when I'm gone, I failed them.
Hmm.
And that's part of what I mean by, Game 7, like moving. I want to move in such a way that I can't think, oh, I'll do it tomorrow or, I'm gonna be here tomorrow, or whatever. Like, nah, like shit happens. Shit
Nah, shit. I could
happens.
tell you. I could tell you all about that. But 9 months ago, I
Oh
ain't
yeah.
I ain't expect to hear the news that I got whenever I went to the doctor, and I was like, man, because I'm about to turn 33 next month, and so I'm like, shit. 9 months ago, I was like, man, this might be it right here for me, dog. 32 years on
Mm.
earth. But I mean, things changed and took a turn for the better. So it's like now you get that a different outlook on life and have a little bit more positivity with a little less more fear. Because I mean, I never been a one to try to second guess or whatever. Just like when we be playing online, it's like, man, it's either balls to the wall or nothing. And so it's the same thing in real life. It's like I'm doing something, man. Like if I get a vision, I'm going for it. I'm gonna do everything I gotta do, get everything lined up, and try to knock it out. And so just like you say, man, you wanna be better than you was yesterday. And that's
Absolutely.
something that we even say when we play football. We want to be better than you was yesterday. So that's how you gotta live your life. So
No, I absolutely agree, man. And a part of that being better, uh, not for nothing, but I wouldn't be who I am if I wasn't. Like a lot of people that don't know me, that learn to know me, or are watching from the outside, they don't understand. Like I don't have bad blood with anybody. If you got
mm,
bad blood with me, that's a personal thing. There ain't a person
just
alive.
like yourself.
Yeah, like I don't have it in me. Like I don't have bad blood with nobody. There's nobody that could tell you that I go out of my way or have ever gone out of my way to beef with you. I'll ignore you and let you be and marinate before I ever indulge in any back and forth with you. It doesn't do anything for me. I have nothing, no ill feelings for you. I don't judge you. I'm not condemning you. I'm not sitting back here feeling like I'm
Mhm.
better than you on my high horse or nothing like that. But when you come back to your senses and you understand that there ain't a lot of people out there that give a fuck about you, that don't have to give a fuck about you, you gonna hit me up.
Nah.
Like I don't have that mechanism. You know what I'm saying? And I watch people that's kind of like, um, they're very nonchalant or passive or whatever with how they maneuver, thinking they got tomorrow, or thinking they in control, or thinking they, you know what I mean? Like, bro, whatever's happened to me, whatever happened and who I am today, I truly believe happened because of how I am and treat people and how I treat myself.
That shit come back around full circle.
It's
So
got
yeah,
to.
like I said, keep that positive energy. What's the
Mm-hmm.
saying? Positive vibes
Hey,
only.
which is funny. Which is funny, right? Because look, remember you were riding with me in the truck and you kept falling asleep. And we was like, I was like, yo, this nigga sleepy. Like, yo, he is. And
nah, you already know what that was though, man.
I know, and then I found out, and I said, oh, okay. But it's funny in hindsight because, like you said, you know, not for nothing, like, life is short, bro. I'm blessed every day. I always tell that, like, I'm blessed. I'm blessed. I can tell you 1,000,001 reasons why I shouldn't even be here today. I'm blessed. Like, I don't have any complaints. There's nothing in this world that I want to do that I haven't done, or that I'm, you know, outside of raising my kids and seeing my kids grow, and, you know, so on and so forth. Like, there's nothing that I aspire to do, nothing that I want from anybody, nothing that I'm going out racing, not a car, not clothes, nothing that I'm going to buy. Like, I'm rocking my brother and them clothing line. I don't have that thing that makes me want to, like, you've never seen me with jewelry. You've never seen me out there. Like, I really do embrace and love the little things. And I'm cool with that.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
I think that's probably why we click, because I'm the same damn way, man. I wear simple clothes. I ain't wearing no Gucci, no I ain't. If it costs like $4,000-5,000 or something like that, it's gonna be something that can save my life, some Kevlar or something like that. But as far as like just something to drape on and take some pictures, like, yo, I'm fresh, I'm fly. Nah, I'm good.
Same thing with me. Like we talking about energy. Everything I wear is pretty much constitutes energy. You know what I'm saying? So like now, before, like, I wear beads, all Buddhist. You see it on my neck. You know what I'm saying? All wooden. The shirt I got on say "Man of God." That's from a homeboy. His line. I'm the same way, man. Low maintenance. You know what I mean? I just move in a manner that's low.
And it's priorities, man. But, like, you know, it's priorities. But yeah, I truly believe, like you said, clicking, man. Like, I've never been somebody that invites you over around my kids or around me or go out of my way to hang with you I'll remove myself from a situation that I don't want to be in so quick, because it's, you know, like, it's not, you know what I mean? Like, you know exactly what I'm talking about. Like, I have nothing to prove. It ain't, you know, my first drinks, like, I still to this day don't smoke weed. But my first drinks was like in a comfortable environment. I was old. You know what I mean? Like, when people see me drinking now, they're like, oh, you drink? And I'm like, yeah, because I'm comfortable. I've gotten to a place where I'm not looking over my shoulder at my surroundings or wondering. I'm never drinking around somebody that I have to wonder if you're going to go in my pockets or if you're going to take advantage, or I'm never doing that.
I'm not even around you.
Yeah, like, I'm not exactly. Like, I'm not doing it. Like, I can't, and I refuse to put myself in a position where I feel
white claw.
Nah, oh, here you go. Hey, listen, true story. The other night, it was about 4 a.m, and I was going in the freezer to get my Ciroc. The Ciroc bottle was like, it was like in the ice, like stuck. Man, I grabbed the White Claw so quick.
I'm about to try that out one day.
No, listen, I
keep hearing about it.
I hadn't had it. Look, true story, I hadn't had it, but I grabbed one so quick, bro. I was like, man, I'm not finna do this. What else I got to do? Oh man, I'm ashamed.
I want to say how was it?
If I'm being honest, I didn't really taste nothing. I don't
know. Ain't it like beer seltzer or some shit like that?
I have no idea what it was.
Seltzer water, beer or something. I heard. I don't know, man.
I'm trying to think of what I had with it. I believe I grabbed something else, like a snack or something, and it drowned out the taste. Like, it didn't taste like nothing at all. Yeah, hey, listen, don't be over there judging me. I see what you're doing over there. I was vulnerable. Listen,
he probably had his pinky finger up like this. Where is that? He probably...
Yeah. All right. This guy. And listen, I struggle with telling you that.
I know. I'm glad you did, though, man. You know, I gotta talk to you, bro, because you just be putting some stuff out there. I don't tell nobody else, but I need to last from time to time.
He said, don't be putting it out there. But yeah, man. So anyway, the other cop, right? He was focused on. It was all jokes and games with him. It was real disrespectful. And I don't in my heart of hearts.
Which is the case with most of them. It's jokes and games.
Yeah, so I don't believe in my heart of hearts he was doing it maliciously. I think he felt attacked because of the attack on officers, because he started off saying things like, "Oh, so when y'all call the police, we just not gonna answer no more because it's fuck the police." And I had to let him know. I said, "Yo, that's the problem. You gotta listen with all of these things. When people the common sense factor is lost in translation to most people, and I don't believe it's because they lack the knowledge. I believe it's because they're not listening and they don't want to comprehend. If we say fuck the police, there is no way in hell we believe that all police officers are bad. And when we say Black Lives Matter, we're not saying only Black Lives Matter. You have to have a sense of reading it between the lines. If you've done nothing wrong and you're somebody that is of good nature, you got to know ain't nobody talking to you. You got to know
hit dogs hollering, man. That's what
yeah.
I like.
Like when people say in disrespectful terms the word nigger, it don't apply to me. I've had guys tell me in full uniform, whether they were other soldiers or civilians, call me brother. People do it all the time, and y'all know what I'm talking about. I hate that brother shit. Hey, brother.
Yeah,
I hate that
brother.
Shit. I hate
it.
Hey.
When they throw that little extra twist in the hey,
exactly,
brother.
Brother.
All right.
I hate the brother. I hate the brother. What's up?
I was playing a pickup game with a bunch of older white dudes, and they was all millionaires, man. Like they come in on their lunch break, running their own businesses and things like that. But before Curry, became popular, where he was hitting a three from half court, this one white dude, I was guarding, and that's what he was doing. It ain't matter where he was at on the court, he would knock down the three. He like, in your face, brother, man. And I was like, yo, what you mean, brother, man? And he kept doing it, and he kept knocking him down. He's like, in your face, brother, man. And I'm like, bro, you keep saying that, we gonna fight. But the dude turned out to be cool as hell. Like he knew how to get under your skin or whatever. But it's funny that you say that, because that's what it takes. Because I like you said, I don't like it neither. Like when somebody comes like, hey, brother,
I
whatever.
hate it.
But when dude was like, in your face, brother, man, I was like, come on, dog, for real.
Yeah, that was flagrant.
Because it's intent, right? So because the whole point of my point is it's intent. Like guy says to me, I'm in full uniform, and it's a line. It's about 5 people in front of me, and the guy forgets something. He turns around and he says, he said, hey, homie, can you hand me?
Homie.
And listen, I'm tall, and I'm looking at the top of everybody's head now. I'm in full fucking uniform. It wasn't soldier. You didn't think of me as a soldier, man, sir, sergeant, none of that. You said homie, right? So everybody in there was like, and my first reaction, I went back, I grabbed what he wanted out of there, walked it up to him, handed it to him. He pays for it, he leaves. I swear to God, the air out the room when he left, everybody looked back like, yeah. And I said, I have to tell people, like, it's the intent. Like, I can tell, and I'm not saying it's all malicious, but you don't have to call me a nigga. You can call me a million other things, homie, brother, or, whatever, but I can tell in your intent what you meant with me. I can tell.
Yeah, it'd be obvious, because they look uncomfortable right when they do it.
Huh?
I do it back to them.
Well, see, that's
so when if they say something like that, I'm like, okay, dude, right back at you, pal. And I just give them that little smirk they do, that little.
You know the words you got to say to get them. When you want to get them back, you got to say, bud. Trust me. All right, bud. okay, bud. Trust me.
Well, listen, that's why that's why I always say, I know that I'm not built for certain things, because I've never had that mechanism that goes back and forth. Like once I feel a certain kind of way, it's 0 to 100 with me. And I'm not even saying it like I hate it. I have that mechanism in me that just, I knew right then and there that I knew I could fuck him up. But it was like, what point,
Mm-hmm.
what point, or even if I was to, go back and forth and make us think about it or whatever, it was like, for what? Like, you know, and now mind you, I've been in situations with people that didn't understand black men, black culture, black people, and they turned out to be all right once you sit and have a conversation with them. And I get it. I get
Yeah.
that a lot just off of me being who I am, tattooed, and whatever. Like the consensus when I'm out, you probably gonna clutch your purse and walk away from me.
Mm-hmm.
But once you talk to me, and we have a conversation, or we get to know each other, I'm probably the first person that you ever gonna call if you need to talk to somebody, whatever. And sometimes it comes to that. Other times it's just like, fuck it, it's a lost cause. But I mean, in this day and age, it's like you want to have that conversation with people, but you just know that I just probably should just hit this block button. I should probably just unfriend you right now. Like, I don't know if
Yeah,
I.
it's a lot of that going on right now, man. And I mean, it's not even me because it's just like you see a lot of people. They get on there, they want to act like they tough, like they
Oh
got
yeah,
thick skin,
we see it
calling people
online.
snowflakes and
We
stuff
see it
like that. So
online.
it's just like,
We see
huh?
it on Call of Duty all the time when they be getting big balls.
Oh yeah, same effect.
Yeah. But even like with homeboy, what was that last week? The dude I went to the academy with,
Oh
and
man,
Okay.
he put that post up,
that was some good
and
reading.
then you see what he did. He blocked him or whatever. And it's a chick that actually went to school with him because I don't know if y'all seen it. She addressed him in a separate post, and she called him out. She said you was just a fat kid in school that got picked on, and your and that's why you because she was like your wife left you and she turned lesbian.
Yeah.
So I was
Golly.
like
All right.
she dropped a bomb on me. And so she put that. Next thing I know, I'm blocked. Both of us blocked, and I haven't heard no more from him.
No
But it's
tough
just
skin.
stuff like that, man. Like you just got some people like, dude, like when I seen you every day, you
Yeah,
had your mouth
absolutely,
shut, you ain't never
absolutely.
say nothing.
We was the best of
But then
friends.
you but then you get on the
Yeah,
internet, man. It's like you
yeah,
big nuts,
absolutely.
big nuts.
Yeah.
And you know what? Correct me if I'm wrong. Like, I don't know y'all relationship, and I don't know how long you knew the dude, but I had some guys in the military. I still got some guys in the military, or that I served with literally to my left and my right, literally war. And in combat, and then garrison, you could do no wrong. We cool. You know what I mean? You invited to the barbecue, for lack of a better term, and everything. Here we go on
That's because
Facebook, and it's like,
you
and what they say. It's a saying right now that says we can disagree on a lot of things. Racism isn't one of them. There's no way that I can. There's no way whatsoever that you can message me and ask me about my family, or call me, text me, or post or comment and ask me about my family, my son, myself, or whatever, and act as though you care, and then vote or move completely left from that same energy. Because everything that you're doing says one thing, and your actions are saying completely different thing. If for instance, if white people, especially the white men and women that I know that go hard for me, that I care about, are hurting, and X, Y, and Z, whether it's Me Too movement or whatever, is fucked up, and you see me voting for somebody that's against what you are and kind of cackling and laughing at it, what message am I sending you? I have to empathize all the way around. Like, there's no way in hell that I vote for or condone any type of behavior for anything that's detrimental to your health, your safety, your mental, or whatever. Because,
mm-hmm.
for lack, they say it's hunting season on niggas, and it's real. Like, there's no way that you can look at Trump or anybody else that's related to those situations and think that they deserve to be in office. I don't give a fuck about the politics of what positive happened yesterday. 6 jobs opened up, 7 jobs opened up, or whatever, and then watch the shit that he says and be like, I'm pretty sure those things that get done with other people in office as well. Let's just get rid of them and continue to do the work, because he's not
Yeah.
represent he's not you know what I'm saying. He's not somebody that, you know, not just the filter, but he doesn't represent everyone as a whole. And if he's somebody that represents you, then you're somebody that I can't align myself with. It's
Nah.
just that
Nah,
simple.
they don't understand that though.
And it's not like again, you know, all of the rebuttals and fights out there of saying like, oh, if you vote for this person or that person. I saw one today that was extra stupid. Somebody said if you vote for Biden, that makes you a pedophile. If me voting for Trump makes me a racist. Well, actually, voting for
Trump
both
is a
of
pedophile.
them are pedophiles. If we go in that route, because we know what Trump was doing with what's his name? Epstein.
Epstein.
We know what he was doing. But
Oh, they was giving it up.
oh my God.
Man,
They was giving it up.
I accidentally read that document, yo. I wish I didn't see that.
I watched the documentary, Jeff Epstein shit on Netflix, and
I'm still gonna watch. I just ain't watched it.
I'm a documentary fiend.
Type in Trump Epstein lawsuit, and it's gonna pop up on fact check, and it's the whole PDF.
Yeah. Is that the
the actual court document?
Is that the court documents the anonymous leak this past week or whatever? I read it. I read it. I seen it where it say factual evidence and all the rest of it. I read it.
I ain't seen
but
none
listen,
of
we
it
knew that though.
Look at that, and that's because I seen a documentary with Epstein. This is way worse, and it, like I say, the documentary pretty much cuts Trump out of it.
Oh, you know they did.
Yeah, for the most part.
Oh, yeah, I'm definitely gonna look into that.
Dude, if you read that document, that shit gonna piss you off. That shit.
As soon as we get off of here, I'm looking at that.
How can that dude be in office if he paid out the lawsuits? They were saying, you know, he not showing his tax return because the tax is gonna show that he paid out lawsuits. See what I'm saying?
Well, you know the reason to that. Because and I've said this long ago, people can say what they want, you ain't gotta like them, but if Obama had done a fraction of whatever was going on, it wouldn't be the same. Like he would have been the fuck up out of there. And what is that attest to what we're talking about as far as the double standards in America? Like you got to be better, you got to be bigger, you got to be faster, you got to be smarter than everything and all your opposition out here. Otherwise, they're gonna eat you the fuck alive.
Yeah, man, you got to be perfect. Then
perfect.
Pretty much, that's what he was, and he was still hated. You know.
Yeah.
So
yeah, I seen black people. I seen black people. Literally, black people say that Obama's done nothing for us.
And that's because they don't understand. And I see a lot of them, what they call themselves, hoteps or whatever.
Yeah, hotep.
And a lot of them say that. And I remember he was like, man, he said we ain't got no property. He said we ain't got no businesses or
they
nothing
want to
like
reverse
that.
slavery.
Like, I said you gotta look every day that you go to work. You work so you can provide for your family. I said you have a job. And I said that's what Obama did. He had a job. If he came in that office solely,
and you should be thankful. He did it fairly.
To give us 40 acres and a mule, just like you said, he'd have been out of office.
Oh yeah, if he was strictly for if he went in there and he was all about black politics and black amendments, and you know most people felt like he was supposed to give us reverse slavery or whatever. And it's like, no, I'm gonna keep it a buck. I didn't even want Obama to get.
They wanted it just like this. They wanted it just like
which
this.
Which makes you like them. Which makes you like them. Yeah, absolutely. It makes you like them. Like I'm not that way.
People against him. He already had people wanting to fail the second he got in office, and they don't understand that. So I'm like,
now he did his job.
You try taking your black ass in that office, and you see what happened with you, and see how long you last. You might not be able to cut
it. The fucked up thing about it is, if he had come in with the agenda of make America great again, and he focused solely on Black America or whatever, you're no better than them. You're asking for the same. You either asking for equality or you're not. Black, white, or whatever. You're either asking for equality or you're not. You want to be fair. You want to live in a world that's colorless, and you know you just see people for the job they do and the person they are, etc. Or you don't. If you want reverse racism, this ain't it. That wasn't it. Obama wasn't supposed to come in there and do radical shit just because he was black, and he was supposed to come in and do his fucking job. And unfortunately, like I said, I didn't want him to do the second term of it because I thought at some point they was gonna knock him off. I literally, and I go on record and said it after the first one, because the first one was already, you know, the first election was like, you know, hey, yo, listen, if y'all touch him, We
Yeah.
burning this bitch down. The second one, I was like, all right, you did your job. They ain't gonna give a fuck anyway. Walk away. I didn't want that second one,
Well, he did such a good
but
job,
it did though.
and I mean, even look now, because I remember, what year you was over? You was in where you was in Afghanistan or
Afghanistan,
Iraq?
04. 04.
Okay, you was what year?
04.
04. All right. And so I remember coming out of college, I think in like 07 or 08, and that's when Bush was in there. And that's just like when that housing market and everything started to crash, and I couldn't get a job because I was trying to go into the FBI. And they was like,
Mm.
yeah, we got a hiring freeze. We ain't taking nobody.
Mm.
And so then once, 08 came, Obama ended up getting picked up, took like what, I think 3-4 years or whatever for the economy to kind of start flowing a little, you start flowing again or whatever. And then even in that second term, things start getting better. People in our age group start buying houses and things like that.
Mhm.
And then once he went out, everybody got comfortable. Like, well, he ain't really do nothing. Like, he's not a good president. And it's like I think y'all forget that we come from Bush to him,
And
and
they
now
like
look
Bush
what
now.
we going again.
And they like Bush now. Now Bush
Yeah.
ain't so bad.
Yeah, that's the reason.
Now Bush ain't so bad.
But that just come from not knowing like how shit really work up there, man. Like them man was trying to do so much.
Yeah, no.
And they wanted
But
to
he
cut
had-
with what they wanted to go on. And so
Nah, you
everything
right.
he
You
was
know what it
slapping
is?
on the table, they was slapping it.
No,
like
you're right.
that.
What it is it was trendy. You didn't know shit about politics and give a fuck about politics. You voted for and you thought X, Y, and Z and so on and so forth. And you see so much misinformation.
that's even like where we work at right now. When Trump was running when we at FedEx, and you would hear all the drivers coming, pretty much a lot of white dudes, some blacks, saying Trump's going to put us back to work. And then he come in. What's the first thing he do? He start that trade war with China.
Mm-hmm.
And then you come out and you look on the dock, and you remember at one point,
it was no freight.
pretty much like we used to be loaded.
Yeah,
you could barely walk. And then once he started that trade war, you come out there, you see a few boxes, you like, y'all loaded everything up.
You think you can hit the dock?
Only thing moving was like pipe. Pause. It was pipe. Steel and pipe was the most. It was the most that was moving.
Wait, you was moving pipe?
Mm-hmm.
Pause. Yeah, a flatbed. Pipe, yeah.
Oh, on the flatbed,
big pipe up the highway. Yeah.
Oh my god. Oh.
But you look at all the dudes that voted against their own interests, and it's like that's what you got. Like you just see a lot of people voting against. I even know a girl that I went to school with. She's an addict, and she's like, "Oh, I'm voting for Trump." Trump getting there, he passed policies that if you got an addiction or something like that, you won't be covered. It's going to be harder for you to get health insurance and stuff like that. And they cut, I think they undercut or like they underfunded like some other things or like that have benefited her. But I'm looking and I'm like, why do you got people that vote against their own interests?
Yeah, what's that?
What
was that food shit that got cut? That a lot of them.
Which one?
I can't remember what was the name of that food service they was getting? I can't think of the name of it, but that was something that got cut by him too, wasn't it? And
you got food things, you got like the Meals on Wheels.
Yeah, it was some kind of I can't think of the name of that shit right now. But he ended up cutting that, and they was mad at him. The ones that voted for him, which is mainly on that, and that got cut. You see what I'm saying? So,
hey, speaking of foods, how y'all feel about cutting off like Chick-fil-A and Wendy's and shit like that?
Oh, yeah, I don't like that fast food shit no ways. And keep it a bean with you.
Yes.
Me being honest with the treatment and stuff that I just went through, it reversed my taste buds.
Okay.
So I don't even really have a taste or a desire to eat it anymore, man. So it's like that's an easy cutoff for me.
Mm-hmm.
So,
but I guess my bigger question is, can you actually cut them off if a lot of the things that you buy on a regular basis, i.e. deodorant, toothpaste, etc., they also contribute to like you just don't know about it, or different corporations, different names or whatever contribute. Like I understand doing your part. I guess what I'm asking is, how effective do you think that is? Because you know where I stand. I stand on making your own shit anyway. That's my shit. That's gonna be my stand to the end of time. Like, yo, fuck all that let's make our own burgers, or let's do this, or let's do that, or whatever. But I know the cancel culture is like quick to do it, but we don't realize you're still gonna have Pepsi, Coke, or in some way, shape, or form supporting the Nike. Or Nike was one of the prime examples when Nike hit the Cap commercial, but they was also contributors. You understand what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
So it was like those are the things. It's like, are you happy with that? Are you satisfied with yourself and your decision, or what's the next move? And people were mad at Jay-Z when he said, we passed nil and what's what. But that's kind of what I felt was like, all right, well, what's next? Like, we're doing all of this and we're talking about it, and the narrative is out there, but there has to be something else after this. And I still, like I said, the only step that I see that we haven't done is completely separating.
That's literally what it's gonna take. But that'd be the next step, especially like
you have to tell me
sports.
what the other step is.
Especially sports.
That's what I'm saying. Like that's one of the first things that's one of the bigger things, conglomerates or examples that you could ever use as far as sports. Like there's no sports without the athlete. So, same shit without the consumer, and I said this shit about opening the country back up. Like, yeah, you might bail out a company right now after this COVID-19 shit. You might bail out a company, but what are you going to do about the consumers? How are the consumers or the people that have been out of work for so long supposed to go to a movie theater at the prices and the demand that it is, and you expect the economy to be booming again when they ain't been making money for the past 3 months?
Mm-hmm.
You can't just bail out the company. Like it's always going to be a domino effect to everything that you do. So, same kind of shit. Like if you're planning on taking away or stopping the sports, or you lose the athlete, then what? Somebody got to do something.
I know one thing. One of the topics I seen some people saying, well, let's pull your kids out of the public white institutions and send them to a HBCU. Because that I graduated from PV, that's Black College or whatever. And for some reason, even when I was little, I always had that dream of playing at Grambling State after seeing, what's his name, Doug Williams, and seeing Bruce Eugene and all of them. And so I always had that aspiration, but I never knew the role and the effect that it would have until like you really start learning the history, like all the greats. Like my dad used to always tell me, he's like the NFL was built on black players, from HBCUs, and then you go back and you look at all the people that's in the Hall of Fame, and you look and see where they come from. Come from little black colleges, and so it's not. I mean, you look now, like a lot of people they caught up on Alabama, LSU, who else? It's like a couple big name schools and stuff, but a lot of people get caught up on that. And it's like
SEC.
they not good, it's the talent. And if you look at the talent and where they come from, they look just like us. And so if they went to, the HBCUs, that's where all the power would be. And if you got the power down there, that's where the money is going to go. And they won't have a choice.
I agree. And
so,
I said the same thing about music industry and everything else. You got to shift the power at some point, man. At some point, you got to shift the power. But I mean, that's also that thing that we were talking about earlier with knowing your worth and your you signing over your likeness of image and everything, basically your name and own it. Come on, let's call it what it is, right? They call them owners for a reason.
You see, and I didn't have that issue where I was at. Like I said, being down in Prairie View, because it's like I knew they was making money, so we played one game, and we made the school $500,000 just off of playing one game, and we took an L.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? We didn't get blew out or nothing like that, but we lost. And we got the school $500,000, and I was okay with that because now when I go back to Prairie View from when I first went there, when I got there, they had some old buildings. Now you go there, they got like some state-of-the-art stuff they've rebuilt, and they put everything up. And it's like when I walk back on campus, I could look and be like, man, that's nice as hell. Like, man, I can't believe, we actually did this and put, all that blood, sweat, and tears. It helped the campus and the school, get the funds to rebuild. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So that's why, like you say, start within your own stuff, man. Have your own stuff. Build your own stuff. Don't give it to somebody else.
It's about knowing your worth. It's about knowing your worth. You know what I mean? It's about knowing
Mm-hmm.
that. It's about knowing that, you know, at the end of the day, you're gonna if you're willing to give me $100 million, I know you believe and you know what I'm finna do. You know what I mean? Because come on, let's call it what it is. Like, if I'm willing to give you X amount of dollars,
Yeah.
man, I'm take this shit somewhere else. But I mean, again, the shit don't work without the players. The shit don't move without the workers, and so on and so forth. So, you know, that's kind of where I continue to go with, you know, my stance on shit. Is at the end of the day, none of this shit move unless we do. So, you know, knowing
Yeah.
your worth,
Shit,
basically.
we moving, man. Like I said, we got the power, man.
Yeah,
So I
yeah,
mean, everything you look at, like I say, the economy. They say we the biggest consumers
yeah,
and stuff like that.
yeah,
And it's like you say, I don't spend my money on nothing. I mean, I got a few toys and stuff like that, but I'm not buying sneakers, every week
nah,
or every
me
month.
either.
I'm not going out clothes shopping, things like that, or putting big ass rims on my cars and
Right.
trucks and things like that. So it's like I try to keep that money put into things that's gonna appreciate and
Mm.
things like that.
Yeah,
Because I
and
mean,
you get
that's
that with growth too.
that shit
You
matters, huh?
you get that with growth. Like you learn the difference between guys or people in general that feel the need to compensate and they have to
Yeah,
have that or they need that. And I don't listen. I don't care what you do with your money. I'm never counting nobody's pockets or telling you how to live or what makes you
mm,
happy. One of the biggest mottos that I say when I talk to people is this gonna help you get up every morning? Is this gonna push you and motivate you to get through your day? Then cool, get it. Other than that,
yeah,
what I do and what I buy in my comfort level is different than most, but I don't feel a need to compensate with certain shit. Um,
mm,
you know what I mean? And you get that with a certain amount of experience. Like it was always chasing, like, man, I gotta have the new FUBU jeans, and then the new FUBU jeans go out and you stuck with a bunch of FUBU jeans that you can't wear. You know what I mean? Like you learn
I
as
did that shit for the bow.
yo, listen, it get hard out here, man, because it's a constant game that don't end, and it's like when it's all said and done, come on, man, like it's tough out here. Like even in this age, imagine if you will, I think about this all the time. Imagine if you will, all them people that are like on social media that have to buy new outfits all the time because they didn't posted so many pictures and videos with that.
They insecure.
I listen, we
They
know that,
insecure.
we know that, we know that.
Yeah.
Um,
Mm.
I mean, we see it. Me and Santana were talking about like fans only and everything else. We talk we talk about all kind of shit, man. But it's like you watch um, women that say men are like thirsty
Mm-hmm.
when they spend
Need
their
that
entire
attention.
time they spend their entire time thirst trapping. You be like,
Mm.
who's the thirsty one? Like, shorty,
Yeah. Mm-hmm. They like attention.
you so
And I mean that's like even now with me, because I can look now, I could be on the prowl. It's like what you want. And so some chicks that, like you said, they thirst trapping, they try to play the game and act like they a trophy, right? And it's like, no, you not. I know
absolutely,
exactly. I know
absolutely.
exactly what
You
you're doing.
look
You out
good.
here thirst
There's a
trapping,
huge
and that's
there,
how you go.
and you
Mhm.
learn like you learn with like clothes and everything else. Like it look good, but is it
Yeah,
good? Is it? Nah, that ain't it. That
yeah,
ain't it.
man.
That ain't the move. Shorty, you
Mm,
stay over
mm.
there. Well, well, secretly, you know, most of the dudes is like, nah, bruh, she out
Yeah.
there or whatever. You know what I mean? Like
Mhm.
it's just as time goes on, the guys with the money or money pictures or the big rims and everything else, and you start to see like I often look back at Paid in Full, man. And
Mm.
Money Making Mitch had the cars, the jewelry, everything. That boy went into that little room and laid there, and I just was like, huh?
Yeah.
And people don't see it, but I see it all the time. And I'm
Yeah.
like, I look at certain things and I'm like, Money Making Mitch, man, he had all that money and he was driving, he was the man in the hood. But bro, you was still in the hood. Like you didn't even bother to
Mhm.
even, and I get it, like that's the mentality, but that's all we knew back then. But like with growth, you get to
Shit, I do you one better, man. One of the dudes I used to work with in law enforcement, nigga stayed in a decent apartment, and he made good money. But I remember this nigga, he took some pictures and stuff, got real fly. And what's them shoes? Beyonce. How you say it?
Out of
Balenciagas.
Balenciagas. Yeah.
Those right
Yeah,
there. What they
them,
like
He said
500 or something
those.
like that?
the typical
Those.
go-tos.
Hey, he had them on and everything. He had the chain, the watch, and all that stuff like that. And got his little likes and everything on the pictures or whatever. And then like a couple years later, he posted up another picture talking about some man back then. I was sleeping on the floor and I was out here struggling. It's like, bro, it's like you spending $500 on a pair of shoes, but
Yeah,
you
yeah.
And
couldn't buy
buy
a mattress.
For a
you buy a
look.
mattress, yeah.
For a look.
You
Yeah,
couldn't
yeah.
even get an air mattress.
Yeah. Absolutely.
I'm like, bro, I don't even feel bad for you, man.
You can't.
Like that's
You can't.
nah.
But again, it's a learning lesson. Like I said, I don't judge and I ain't worried about, what the next man do.
Nah.
It's always just funny though when you look back at those things, because I'm one of those guys that I look at how um excited you are to go to a hotel or something, because that to me
Yeah.
tells me when you got to the, like, when when you get to the hotel. Why you laughing, Santana? Like when you see them, they get to the hotel and they be so happy that little refrigerator is there. You be like, no, you're like, you could put that in your house, right? You could buy that for the amount that you just spent. Like that refrigerator's like
Nothing.
$30.
Yeah.
You fill it with little liquor bottles and you got that.
I was
But you
riding
just
around with
spent,
that in my truck. So,
yeah, but you just spent $500 on this hotel
Yeah.
for the night, and you just so amazed with this hotel and everything. And it's like your mentality let me know absolutely, like you're not used to certain things or whatever. But yeah, man.
I just don't get it, man. Because like I said, I be seeing dudes down my timeline, nigga Drake and Gucci from head to toe, got the shoes, the pants, the belt, the shirt, the hat, gloves, you name it, he got it.
the
And
club.
then he'll pull up in a car and it'll be a V6 Dodge Charger. I'm like, come on, man, you couldn't even get the Hemi.
Right.
What you got a rental? Like
You
you,
silly as hell.
like come on,
Hey,
man. Like yeah,
speaking of which, and all this, I said this just to get a little bit back on topic. I was saying this, am I the only one that notices that this marching and protest was treated like a photo op?
Nah. I've noticed. I've
now
noticed.
I actually seen what you seen, like the one you were talking about with the chick. I think Santana. Like you seen a girl that was like boring something up, took the picture or whatever, and then dipped
And
off.
then dip. Like, yeah, put it back down. Like, all right, you know what I'm saying? Yeah.
I didn't see that yet.
I seen that. Like I said, I seen when he posted or whatever, and it was talking about it, and I was like, that's crazy. Like,
Yeah.
just even like I said, you got people that's protesting, but then you got some people that's just straight coming out
Right.
rioting and looting.
Clown, yeah.
The
Yeah.
capitalize. So people coming out, they own agenda, and it's almost like it
Yeah.
defeats the purpose.
Yeah, it's just the photo op shit. Like the very first one I saw, I ain't even gonna put his name out there. Somebody I follow on IG, a car dude, and he in front of the he got the mask on. He in front, I think it was an AutoZone out there that got burnt up. And he in front of he posing. He like, I'm like, yo, like, come on, man.
Yeah,
like,
bro, it's a photo. And,
yeah, it's a photo op.
and it's like, it's almost like you can't really, like I said, I don't care what you do with your time or whatever, but when you get popped in the head with a pellet for being in the wrong place at the wrong time.
Yeah, that's why you want to see
Gotta
me
be,
out there, man.
listen,
I already know
listen, that's
shit,
what I'm
man. I
saying.
don't
Like,
know
you got to be
what
ready
to
to ride. Like, it's a different energy. If I go out there, I have all intents and purposes to fuck some shit up, or
Mhm.
you know what I mean, whatever. Like, it's not so I could say I did it and I was there. I ain't running for mayor in a couple years where you're gonna look for a picture of me getting arrested or carried off, or I'm fake laying on the ground, or carrying my sign that I made and whatever. Like, I get it, and I believe that all, like I said, I believe that all the presence is cool. I seen it with say all 50 states, 18 countries, or whatever the case, and all that. I seen that, but I feel, and I'm entitled to feel some kind of way about anybody that was just doing it to take a picture, because the message was lost in your selfies, and the rest of the message is lost in, all the rest of that. You know what I mean? This man lost his life, and it's a continued thing. And when that hashtag is done, it's kind of, I guess what I'm saying is it's kind of like the blackout shit, right? So you let your page go black for a day,
Mhm.
and I seen I seen chicks go right back to, I'm gonna suck my nigga dick from the back tonight, and I was like, we still dealing with this. No, listen, like we still dealing with this. You do know this, right?
Yeah.
That's a far cry from I'm a love a black man to life versus, if you gonna, and I'm like, bro, like, and again,
It be for the look. Everything it come back to being for the look, man.
Exactly.
That's it.
It's the opportunities, everything. So, man, I mean, overall, all it's a lot. It's a lot to take in. Like I said, I hadn't watched the video. I've seen many of them. I ain't really doing the murder porn. I'm not doing fake movements. I don't know who's who. I got a few people around me that I'll probably have on here soon. They know who they are. They really doing it. They've been doing it. They're consistently doing it. They actually do the work, and I would like to pick their brain and have the same kind of conversation with them. But yeah, like I'm not really looking for anybody that feels now's the time to kind of like the NFL, like, how didn't you? You know what I mean? And there's nothing wrong with change. People gonna sit back and say, people entitled to change. I'm not talking about change. I'm talking about keeping that same energy that you had, or actually making the effort to change it. Because similar to that, if Kaepernick isn't in the league next year in some way, shape, or form, even if it's not he need to be on a board. I don't care if he's quarterback. If he's not on some sort of committee. Let's be honest, you got Jay-Z on the committee. You can have him on a committee if it's dealing with, the civil rights or, equality and everything. You can have him on a committee. If no team wants him to play quarterback or doesn't believe that he can play, you can have him as a consultant of some sort. But
not believing that he could play quarterback is off the board. Because I literally just read an article. I think it was Hakeem Nick from the Bears. They interviewed him about it, and he was like, "Yo, the best way to put it, he was like, yo, we signed Mike Glennon."
Oh yeah, listen, I've been on that. All of my old messages was on that. You know what I'm saying? Every one of my old, this conversation over and over. I know he could play.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I know he could play. I know, and I understood then why most people or most players and coaches, coaches and GMs and shit didn't put him on the team and so on and so forth. I understand it's a business. I understand all them aspects. But my point in all that is, even with GM saying and walking in locker rooms or whatever, basically saying if you kneel, you couldn't do that to me. You couldn't walk in the locker room and say, if you kneel, X, Y, and Z is gonna happen. I'm kneeling.
Big kneel.
Mind you, you probably wouldn't have been in a position to ask me that to begin with, but I'm big deal. I'm kneeling. Now, if you don't want him on the team and you're issuing an apology saying that you should have listened to him before, given what that man has represented, I'm not necessarily gonna say sacrifice and everything like that or whatever, because it's really no telling what careers go on, whether that be injury or whatever. But what he's represented, he's got to be somewhere in this picture ASAP. Has to. And that's the same thing I'm saying with people. Like, all right, you took your pictures and you blacked out your shit now. Some change got to come. You can't just post. You can't just post that picture and not then go support black businesses or not then go put into the work that comes with doing all of that. You can't. You can't be at a protest and a rally tomorrow and then go back to your normal life as if you did something. You didn't. I mean, your numbers matter. I guess if that's where you want to end it, your numbers matter. But but I'm really looking for the commitment to change. I want to see it.
It's come down at that point because being consistent and being true.
Let me ask
to
you
the cause and to what you put out there.
So
you know what I mean?
We're gonna end this soon, but let me ask you a question, Chuck. If you were still a police officer today, where are you at these riots? And it's a tough question, but I just want to know because I know you're a stand-up dude or whatever.
Like if I was at the riot?
No, I mean,
Your stance, pretty much.
protests, riots, where you are,
Oh,
you're still in
man,
uniform.
I told you before that when I was I never changed who I was. I told you the gun, the badge, none of that stuff. It never changed who I was morally. And so, looking at the people that's rioting and things like that, you got to understand when something happens to somebody in your family or something like that. What's the first thing you do is grieve. And so, when you addressing somebody that's grieving, the only thing you can really do is let that person grieve. However that be, they might cry, they might yell, they might be angry or whatever. But in this situation, you got a community that's grieving. And so, I mean, they gonna tear shit up. You look at the 19, what is it, 92, 93 riots with Rodney King when they burned LA down.
Right.
You can't really be mad at that because you understand. Like I told you earlier in the podcast, I said even though I'm in a uniform or I was wearing a uniform, once I took that uniform off, I'm just a black man just like you.
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying? So, like I said, it never changed me or made me feel like I was better than the next man next to me. I understand where it's coming from. Like I said, that shit should have never happened. You never put your knee in a man's neck. You would never do. I'd never done that. So that's why I said, if people riot, just like I said, just how I feel now, man. Let them riot. Let them burn that shit down.
Right.
Let them burn it down. I mean, they'll stop eventually, but I think a lot of people gonna get upset and disappointed when they see maybe like one or two of them officers get off because I had to explain it to a young girl the other day. I said, you got to look. I said they charging all of them with murder, but I said who really killed the dude? I said you got the one officer that's just standing there, and I think that might have been the rookie or whatever that just started training. He don't know what the hell to do. The only thing he could do is take orders, and y'all know how that goes.
Yeah.
And so
Yeah.
I said, by law, because I said that's the first thing they're gonna do. They're gonna go to that courtroom, they're gonna open up that law book, and they're gonna read out of there verbatim. I said he didn't have anything to really
Well, I'm
physically
actually
do
on the
as
fence
far as
about.
touching that
I'm
dude.
actually. I just posted it today. I'm actually on the fence about where I stand with two rookies as well. Not because, I mean, mind you, I just got the information. 4 days on the job, like you said, I get it. You're talking to somebody that's training you, and in a job that you expect them to be a little more experienced, even if there's a lot of things. I can see where a lot of things probably kicked in for them, and they
They
weren't
didn't know
in.
what the hell they was doing.
You know what I mean? And the argument is always going to be, nah, I ain't letting that slide. I'm going to push them off or I'm going to get them off or whatever. And that may be true in most cases. But, yeah, like you said, I don't believe that the two rookies are going to get any time. And I'm not even mad. I'm not mad if they don't, given the information. I'm indifferent if you do. If you don't, I just find it real tough to swallow to think that 4 days on the job and maybe you were one of those officers that wanted to, that weren't bad or a bad seed and you're being trained by somebody for 4 days or whatever that's known for getting their way or known to doing whatever the fuck they want to do. I don't know if you intervene. I don't know how that goes. I don't know if everybody has the intestinal fortitude to just go ahead and take matters into their own hand, risking everything that they work for, career, everything, or putting themselves in that position. I don't know if everybody, I don't even know, you know what I mean? Like, I believe I know what I would do, but 4 days on
I
the
remember
job, I don't.
I remember my first night on the streets as a rookie. I'm talking about brand new, straight out the academy. I went straight to night shift, and I had went to a call with a dude that had apparently pulled a gun on like three little kids that was fishing at a lake. So we get there, and a couple of the older officers, it was some Hispanic dude, they had put him in handcuffs. And I think he was on like that Kush. You remember when Kush was real bad at one point? Like
I
where you
think
had the dude that mauled the other dude face off the synthetic weed.
yeah, okay, the synthetic shit. Okay, I got you.
He was on that. And so I get there, like I say, brand new. I'm pretty much observing, seeing how they handle and they handcuff, they search, put them in the car, log in, all that stuff. I'm just trying to be observant. But a dude sees me, only black dude out there, and he's nigger, like he just go off. And that's all he starts, shouting out, just nigger, nigger. And he starts charging at me. He's handcuffed. And you know, that synthetic, I guess it makes you a little stronger than normal. 2 officers couldn't even handle him. They sitting up there, they struggling, trying to hold him. This nigga, he just dragging. And he getting closer and closer. And I never, stepped back or anything like that. I let him get close. And as soon as he got close enough to me, I just grabbed him and I hit him with that little judo hit toss and flipped him over on his back. And the other officers went with him. You see what I'm saying? So I got him down on the ground. They was able to, get him better restraint and put him in the car. And so, like I said, with me being a brand new rookie, now you got these older officers looking like you handled that pretty good. And that's the difference between, certain people, certain calibers of, people that's coming out for the streets. Like I said, you got some people that's not really cut out for it. You got some people that just want to do it because they think it's a cool job, or you got some people, like, again, that want that power. Yeah. So, I mean, I can understand them not pushing a dude off because he's a senior officer or whatever. They probably looking like he know what he doing. He must have done this before. Because like I said, he's supposed to be teaching them. Absolutely. But he don't know what he's doing.
Right. So, and like I said, that intimidation, like even if you watch somebody long enough, you know how long they've been on the force, you know what they've gotten away with and who they're connected with and what they know, you're gonna be a little bit hesitant, like you said, just in that knowing or thinking that they know what they're doing, and then feeling as though should I intervene, or whatever the case is or whatever. But yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if 2 of them, if not 3 of them.
Y'all know how the command, the chain of command goes.
Absolutely.
Y'all know how that goes. Absolutely. How you're supposed to respect your senior officer, your superior officer, whatever.
Absolutely.
And it's pretty much the same thing like that in law enforcement. But like I say, in certain instances or circumstances, you could step in and you could make that decision and discuss it later. But it's still that fine line, because it's like you never know the consequences or the repercussions that's going to come with it. So it's like it's walking on glass or eggshells, however you want to cut it.
Yeah, they're nice. That fine line. All right, well, shit. We can pretty much end this or whatever. If anybody got anything else they want to say, any topics or closing statements.
I'm good, man. Pretty much we had a good little discussion, man. So
yeah, I'm sure we left some things out. Anybody watching or interested in coming on and saying their perspective or debating a topic, any questions you have, my info is on there. Santana's info is on there. You can even address Chuck. I'm sure he'll be in the comment section. Share this, tell your people, and we will be back next week. So I appreciate y'all listening, and Chuck, appreciate you coming on, bro. Time to go get this White Claw and some food. You know what I mean, Santana. You know what it is, bro. Love.
Yeah, all day.
All right, well, y'all be easy, and let's go play this Call of Duty, huh?
All right.
Let's go play this Call.
All right.
All right.
All right.
Yeah.